We are in Qatar. Oh, hello.
Hi.
Excited to explore Qatar.
Yeah, buzzing. I mean, I've already been here, but
What are your thoughts so far? What can we do if you've already been here?
go on the metro. That's what I did
Go on the
last
metro.
time.
We'll do that tomorrow.
All I did yesterday was go on the metro. But yesterday, all I did last time I was here was go on the metro.
What else did you do?
Nothing.
Nothing.
My plane was delayed.
There you go. I'm sure there's much more to do in Qatar in 24 hours than Claire's footsteps is letting on. So we've just landed earlier today in Doha, the small capital of one of the world's tiniest countries. So we're here on a stopover with Qatar Airways, of course, on our way to Bangladesh. And seeing as we'd never been to Qatar before, apart from to the airport, decided it was time to stop over. So this is officially country number 95. Now we've got just over 24 hours left. I think maybe 26 or 27 hours left until we fly on to Dakar in Bangladesh. So for the next 24 hours-ish, we'll be answering two questions. What can you do in Doha? And just how did this tiny Gulf nation even become an independent state, given that Israel was testing Qatar's sovereignty just a week ago with missile attacks? I think that's a very topical question. So we're starting here tonight in Souq Waqif, which is kind of the center of Doha, like the old town center. So let's take a little walk around Souq Waqif and see what we can discover about Doha and Qatar. Right, just heading into the maze of little alleyways. It all looks like it's been refurbished. I think it was rebuilt around 2000, I was reading, because it fell into disrepair basically. So now it's a lot of kind of new shops and businesses, but with kind of old heritage feel to them. Hello. Hi, it's prayer time as well. These are all prayer beads. So it's right by the old mosque, so those are all prayer beads being sold in the first sort of alleyway we went down. There's a lot of narrow, winding streets here. You can buy pretty much anything. It's not all that touristy. You can get everything, flip-flops to containers to cook your rice in, and of course some knockoff football shirts. That giant flag behind Claire's footsteps head, that is the Qatari national flag. So bizarrely in this old souk, you wander around, you've just got some random modern additions, including this giant gold thumb. Just to give you a reference scale, it's about twice the size of me, and absolutely no idea why it's here in the middle of the souk. There's loads of places to eat around here too. We've just been recommended this Syrian restaurant, Damascus 1, which we're going to check out. This is the first restaurant we've eaten at in Qatar, apart from the hotel where we had some pizzas earlier. Because this is the Middle East, we always love getting some Levantine food, so we found this Syrian restaurant. On the menu they've just got a feast of hummus, falafel, fattoush, tabbouleh, all the usual suspects that we have to get every time we're in the Middle East. So let's see how it stacks up in Doha's Old Town Centre. So I ordered a special national soda, that's what it said on the menu, thinking it would be some sort of delightfully local Qatari drink, but it's just a Pepsi that was made in Qatar, and even has fellow Englishman Jack Grealish on the can. Classic. Nice. Claire has a more local mint lemonade, I think. And then we've gone for the classic dolma, that's vine leaves. Got the hummus, lentils, halloumi, and then a couple of other dishes. One of these is baba ganoush, and I'm not sure what this one was, but he said it was spicy. Anyway, first meal in Qatar, all of this will cost about 130, 140 Qatari riyals, I think. Divide that by 5 and you get the GBP. So that's what, about 30 odd quid. A little bit less. Not crazy cheap, but not crazy expensive. Cheaper than London. Oh my god. getting my hummus fix. We've flown 6 hours and how many miles? 1,000 miles, I don't even know. And this hummus always makes it worth every minute on a plane. You cannot get hummus like this in England. And then this is one of my personal favorite dishes that I've eaten so many places around the world. It goes by various names. You might hear it called dolma or yaprak, or here I think it was yenilak. Regardless of the name, it's essentially a stuffed vine leaves. It is stuffed vine leaves, stuffed with rice and herbs and sometimes lentils, sometimes meat. This one's vegetarian. But you get this everywhere from Turkey to apparently to Qatar now, across the Caucasus, across the Middle East, and it's up there with hummus. All right, first dinner destroyed. What do you think of the Levantine Qatari cuisine, Claire?
So delicious. I've been dreaming about it since I left Jordan.
It's a long dream. Well, there you go. Dreams come true in Qatar. Anyway, we're going to continue exploring Qatar in the morning. So we booked this stopover package with Qatar Airways, and they've given us a hotel, like a 5-star luxury hotel in a place called Lusail, which is where the World Cup was held, and the 2022 World Cup was held. And some people have called it kind of a ghost city because it was built specifically for the World Cup, and apparently no one really lives there. The hotel's quite empty. But we haven't had a chance to see much of the city of Lusail, so we'll see that in the morning, and then we'll check out the rest of Doha as well. This is the Valero Hotel in Lusail. So this is what we've got as part of our stopover package deal. Marble corridors, golden elevators, and there's even a seat in the elevator.
Yeah.
Amazing. So we're going to head off this morning and explore Lusail, which is kind of the area north of Doha where we're staying, or have been staying last night. We're heading off this evening. Our flight's about midnight from Doha International Airport. So we've got less than a day left before heading off to Bangladesh. It's only 8:30 in the morning. We're here in late September on this stopover in Qatar, and it's scheduled to reach about 40 degrees Celsius later today. So we're trying to get out early to see as much as we can in the morning before we head back to our hotel, which you can see just behind me. This glorious space age looking hotel, which is also a shopping mall and a restaurant. It has a 3rd floor swimming pool as well. For $40 extra between 2 people, we got a stopover, 2 nights included. It's weirdly empty on the roads around the hotel. Kind of curious. I'm not sure if that's just because it's early in the morning and it's super hot. I wasn't expecting many people to be walking around, but there's like not many cars either compared to downtown Doha where we were last night anyway. So Lusail is quite a curious place. So this area north of Doha city is basically a planned city. It was envisaged by the Qataris as part of the 2022 FIFA World Cup event. Now, many of the football stadiums, the big Lusail City Stadium, that was built here in this area, north of Doha. So during the World Cup, this would have been absolutely buzzing. But a couple of years later, it seems like it's kind of quiet. Now, this was the first planned city in Qatar. Because the tiny country has a pretty booming population in many respects. Now, the entire population of the country is about 3 million. Only a small percentage of them are actually Qatari citizens. Now, the country has a huge influx of migrant workers from all over South Asia and Africa and the Middle East. and they've pushed the population up to about 3 million people. Now that's a whole nother story in itself, and one I'm not going to get into on a 24-hour stopover, because they're not always treated particularly well. However, because of this sort of booming population of people coming into Qatar, they needed new cities, new places to live and house people. Now it's weirdly quiet because this was built as a planned city, in the sense that they were planning for this population boom in the future. Now I've heard a lot of people call this a ghost city. I've seen a few YouTube videos describing it as kind of abandoned and derelict after the FIFA World Cup. Just walking around, I don't think that is the case. People do seem to actually live here, or in our case stay here, because there's lots of 5-star hotels which were built for the football, which are now part of the Qatari stopover packages. However, it is a lot quieter than downtown Doha was. We'll show you the sort of juxtaposition. We'll show you the contrast later in today as well. But there is a lot of construction going on as well. You can see over here, this whole area is just a kind of patch of desert, which is now being transformed into some sort of mall or apartment block or hotel complex, as if they need more of them. And these wide boulevards are designed for 3 lanes of traffic, and there's maybe 1 or 2 cars there. Qatar has one of the highest GDPs per capita in the world because of all the oil. So they can embark on huge projects like this in Lusail, where they're smartly planning for the future. So here you can see a map of Lusail. So Doha, the capital and largest city where 80% of the population live, is just to the south, about 20 minutes in an Uber. And then we've been staying here in Lusail South. And then the whole area is this entire district basically built for the World Cup, because there's the stadium that held the World Cup final. And then you've got all these artificial islands here as well, and a marina and promenade. I wanted to show you this kind of futuristic icon of the Qatari skyline. I'm not 100% sure what this is called, but at the right time, the planes from the airport actually seem to fly almost through it, or above it anyway. So from the right angle, it looks quite epic. It's big kind of projects like Lusail and these outrageously ridiculous design projects like that building behind me, that kind of show what Qatar, or what modern Qatar is all about anyway. So Lusail and the hosting of the World Cup were all designed to project this image of Qatar as a kind of modern, wealthy nation reaching out to the world, really. A lot of the money obviously came from the oil and gas reserves that Qatar has, which is one of the reasons why the country is A, so wealthy, and B, has such kind of soft power in a way, and such influence across parts of the world. As pleasant as places like these are, though, of course it should go without saying that Qatar obviously has a pretty poor record when it came to the construction of places like this, because of all the terrible conditions that migrants were forced to work in to build it. Now this isn't an investigative video. I have to save that for another time. This is just a stopover video. However, I can't make this video, of course, without mentioning the darker side of Gulf states like Qatar, where unfortunately the abuse of foreign workers is a regular occurrence. Oh my God, it's 9:15 now, and it's already 34 degrees Celsius. Don't know how much longer we'll survive in the heat. Luckily, there's a lot of indoor attractions in downtown Doha. So we're going to catch an Uber into the city, and then check out some of the museums and galleries where there should be some air conditioning. Annoyingly, despite this being kind of the modern glitzy showpiece for Qatar, they haven't actually extended the metro this far yet. All right, Uber ordered. It is about 27 Qatari riyals. It is about £5, £5.10, £5.20 for a good 20-minute drive to the city. I mean, despite this being one of the wealthiest countries in the world, it's fairly reasonable to get around via private Uber. We are back in Souq Waqif, which is the first place we came to in Doha last night when we arrived in Qatar. So I've just been doing a little more research into the souk, and this was of course one of the sort of ancient trading places where Bedouins, the sort of Arab Bedouins that the modern Qataris are descended from, would come here because there was a wadi here where the souk is today. During the 19th century, many of these older buildings that you can see here were originally constructed. As you can see, they're kind of built in that distinctive Qatari kind of Arab style. But then during the oil boom in the 20th century, this kind of area fell into disuse basically because no one was trading the same products anymore. A large part of the souk was destroyed in a fire in the early 2000s, and then it had to be completely rebuilt when they realized that essentially they were losing their heritage. Whenever I come to a new country, and this is country 95, I've got this little tradition where I always try and buy a national football shirt for the country we're in. So last night I saw a few Qatari national football jerseys in the market. So I'm going to go have a wander around and see if we can get hold of one. Alright, just what you need in what is now approaching 40-degree heat, an ice blended coffee. So I'm going to head into the shelter of the souk. Hello. Hi.
Hello, sir. Hi.
Hello. And they're all fake. That's after a football shirt, yeah. Oh, you know. Yeah.
What size?
How much are they?
50 gallon.
50.
Yeah. Come with shorts.
They're not real, are they?
What size?
What's that? XL? XXL? There we go. Mission complete. 50 Rial for a fake Qatari national football shirt. You can get everything you need here, from your beauty fish to your, I don't know what beauty fish are, to your cheese puffs and tomato flavour chipsticks. What's a beauty fish, Claire?
Don't know.
No idea.
But maybe the fish that do feet pedicures.
So we're going to head down to the harbour now, if we can find our way out of this maze of souk streets. And this way?
Is it?
I don't know which way. We're going to head down to the marina, to the harbour, and discover a little bit more about Qatari history. This might be an incredibly foolish expedition we're about to make from the souk down to the marina and then along the seafront to the National Museum of Qatar. There's like no one else out walking though. It's not even midday. So we're going to see how far we get before the heat takes its toll. I mean, it's not far, it's like maybe 2 kilometers. But yeah, it feels like everyone around just takes a car around here. Oh, jumps in an Uber. All right, into the dark depths of Doha. We are descending to try and get to the other side of the road. I have no idea where this underpass goes. Curious. So we've found ourselves in the underbelly of Doha, in some large and mostly empty underground car park. It's like a whole underground city. To be fair, it's nice and cool down here compared to up on the surface. I know, it's weirdly empty. We just wanted to get over the road. Welcome to the beautiful city of Doha. And the top thing to do is visit the underground car park. So we've emerged into the bright sunlight, into the same spot where we left. We went down this underpass here, and we've emerged this underpass here. And we're trying to get over here. We might be in action. I think the Corniche, or the seafront promenade, is this way. Here we go. Oh, back in the glaring heat. Hopefully we've made it across. Simple tasks require a lot of effort and intelligence. Things that we apparently are lacking here in Doha. I blame the heat. Oh, we did it, guys. We made it across the not particularly busy road to the other side, to the Corniche. So this is what we were trying to get to, this Pearl Monument here. It's very windy on this side of the Corniche, but behind me you can see the traditional dhow boats, the wooden dhow boats that would have once left this harbour across the Persian Gulf, across the Indian Ocean, carrying trade, probably slaves at some point, and all sorts of goods across the sort of maritime trade networks that span the oceans to India, across the Middle East, and probably eventually to either Europe in the west or China in the east. And then past these sort of traditional dhow boats, you can see the skyline, the sort of skyscraper skyline of Doha there. As I stroll along the Corniche, let me give you a brief history of Qatar and Doha. Now, as much as 80% of Qatar's population live within the Doha sort of metropolitan area, the wider sort of suburbs of the city. It's obviously the largest city in Qatar, pretty much the only city, unless you count Lusail where we were staying, which is a new city anyway. So pretty much the entire country lives here. And down here by the harbour, by the Souq, this is where it all really began in the 19th century. There was a little fishing village, the Souq, called Al Bida. Well, Qatar wouldn't have existed as a country back then in the 19th century, but most of the sort of Arabs that lived here, they would have been fishermen, they would have been pearlers, they would have been traders. They would have crossed the desert sands as Bedouin did. And as happened with a lot of these small states and much of the Middle East, Qatar fell under the influence of the British, and it became a British protectorate. That's right, my people, they were everywhere, including Qatar. And in 1971, Qatar was finally gifted its independence. When Qatar became independent, it had the choice to join the United Arab Emirates, but for various political and presumably nationalistic reasons, they said no and became instead an independent nation. Now, if you look at a map of the Middle East, you'll see Qatar, the tiny, tiny country of Qatar, is bordered by the giants of Saudi Arabia. And then not far across the Gulf is, of course, Iran. So this tiny little peninsula of land is kind of going it alone in this tumultuous area, this tumultuous geopolitical area, where of course there's such valuable resources. So it's amazing that this tiny little piece of land essentially has managed to hold on to its independence and carve a name for itself in the world. So yeah, I suppose that sort of answers the question I set out to discover at the start of this video. Why is Qatar, this tiny little peninsula of desert and coral reefs, why is it a country? And here we go, another of the top things to do in Doha and Qatar. These are the flags of the world. Now, I'm trying to count all of the flags. I don't think there's 193 UN recognized countries here. For starters, there are obviously some that are not there at all, including, of course, Israel. However, there are a large number of the world's flags, so presumably these are all countries that Qatar has fairly amicable relations with. I think the locals think we're a bit insane. The taxi drivers keep stopping and walking out of their cars and coming over to us, asking if they can give us a lift anywhere. There's no one else out apart from the odd construction worker or municipal city worker who's cleaning up. It's gone midday, almost 1 o'clock. It's absolutely sweltering. And let me say, Qatar, Doha is not pedestrian friendly. We ended up along the Corniche and we could see our next destination on the other side of the road But there was no crossing points, no underpasses, and the traffic was just coming thick and fast. So we had to walk all the way back again and around in the what is now 40 degrees Celsius heat. But we have made it to the Qatari National Museum. So let's head inside this glorious work of modern Qatari architecture and see what we can glean about the local history. This is quite cool, isn't it? Very historic. So we just walked into the courtyard and there's this kind of old school Qatari style palace or dwelling. And then on the other side you've got the giant sort of spaceship saucers almost, the modern architecture, and I think that's part of the museum as well. All right, so it costs 25 Qatari riyals to get inside the National Museum. But let me spin this around because it's quite a spectacular work of architecture. Look at this. Although we can't for the life of us find a way to actually get inside. There we go, inside the spaceship that is the museum. These were the diving suits they used to wear to go diving for pearls, presumably, and oyster shells. And here we are, the oil, the black gold that made Qatar rich. Here you can see the city's rapid development through the 20th century. So basically, once they found oil and were independent, that was the boom years. This entire exhibition, this gallery in the museum, is devoted to the blockade in 2017 when the surrounding Gulf countries basically cut Qatar off. And it's just going through the kind of local human cost of that. Like Qatari students abroad were forced to come back home, and they were basically pariahed by a large sector of the international community. But from what I can see here, that kind of had the reverse effect and ensured that Qatar now is striving for self-sufficiency. Like they've built more water reserves in recent years because of that, because of the danger of having their water tanks cut off from Saudi Arabia. And they've increased their food reserves and manufacturing capacities, all the basic kind of stuff, so that if they get blockaded again, they won't be in so much trouble. Oh my God, it's absolutely blinding out here. Anyway, if you want a little taster of a little insight into Qatari history, this is a decent place to go, and it's air conditioned. So clearly walking is not really a thing in Doha. So what we're gonna do to get back to Lusail is try out the Qatari metro system. Even finding the metro as a pedestrian is a bit of a challenge. The street signs were just sort of sending us one way. It turned out to be a dead end. So we tried following Google Maps, which sent us off-piste through this giant car park, which is also an old school residential area where some people are still living on this side, and more rustic, kind of old-fashioned Qatari houses by the looks of it. I think we may have found the metro station entrance. And it looks very empty, but I presume this is it. This is the stop for the National Museum, I think. It looks closed. It might not be open. Keep clear of this area for your safety. Thank you. It's a metro sign. I think we've got to find our way over to the other side. Aha! We may have found a way in. Not particularly intuitive. Maybe it's just me being an idiot. Yeah, you can get in this way. Very nice. Damn, it's worth coming in just for the air conditioning. Not many people on the metro, just Claire's footsteps. It's so nice, so clean, so air conditioned down here. But all of these stations are quite new. only really built in the last couple of years. Can't imagine anywhere in the UK building anything new and shiny like this. It kind of seems to work and just never happen. There's a whole load of safety and etiquette regulations that need to be followed when you're on a subway, including tying your shoelaces. Looks like this is where we get a ticket from. Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Do we need, what's the best way to, do we need a travel card? Or,
Yes, sir.
yeah.
We need two, one each?
Do we need one each or just
So
one?
you will stay here for like today?
Just
Only-
today, yeah.
Yeah, we only use it for now. I don't think.
There we go, the lovely gentleman at the ticket machine told us to get this day pass for 6 Qatari. That's about £1 actually, isn't it? It's cheap.
Yeah.
And this gives you unlimited travel on the metro. Easy. All right, to the trains. Let's go, let's see if we can navigate the Qatari metro. Seems quite easy. We could just ride the air-conditioned trains all day, really. So there are at least 3 lines by the looks of it. There's the gold one, which we're on, and we're getting on here at the National Museum, and we're going to take it to Mushreb, and then we're going to change to the red line. There's also a green line. Again, it's so quiet down here. There are also specific cabins or carriages for different types of people. So you've got your family carriage, you've got a standard carriage. Is there a women's carriage? And you got this, you've got
Business class.
you've got business class on the metro. You've got a gold club. You've got the gold club here, business class on the Qatari metro. Amazing. And then Claire was telling me as well, there's normally a dedicated women's section too, which presumably is down here. Obviously, I'm not allowed. I'll go and find Claire. I think we're going to ride in the standard carriage, as we're just standard. It's your standard Western peasants in Qatar. Is there normally a female-only cabin?
I thought there was, yeah. I thought I went in it last time, but it seems to be family, standard and VIP.
Oh.
So we're just going standard.
Train approaching is for Al Aziziyah. Please allow passengers off the train before boarding.
That's us.
Frequently travel on my own and manage to get my way around places.
Think they're driverless. We can find out. Go in this one. This is the end one. Everyone's getting on the same one. Oh, they are. Look. Yeah, that's why everyone was going here. Look. It's driverless train. It's the same idea we did. Wow, look at this. Beautiful.
Very clean.
Doors closing. Sounds clear.
It's a driverless train. Everyone, all the tourists had the same idea we did as well, to jump on the front so you can pretend that you're driving the driverless train. We'll just have to sit here and enjoy the ride.
We'll try next time.
We'll try next time when we change. This is amazing. Super clean.
Their belongings unattended.
That was busier.
A lot of people getting on there.
Yeah. All right, plenty of people are using the metro, but still nowhere near as busy as any time in London, like especially on the main line, and super clean. Right, now we've got to change here onto the red line towards Lusail. Well, it doesn't actually go to Lusail. Oh, hello. Yeah, top marks to the Qatar Metro. Easy to use. Well, we'll find out in a second, but it seems easy to transfer. Cheap, clean, not very busy. The metro in Pyongyang in North Korea is a lot busier than this. Yeah, this one looks way busier. It's very space age. Yeah, we survived the Qatari metro. So the gold line was super quiet. The red line is a lot busier. These metro stations are absolutely enormous. It feels like they're built for a much larger capacity than they actually have at the moment, which might be similar to the way Lusail City was designed, you know, planning for the future rather than trying to meet planning for the future and future demand, so that you're not in a situation like the UK where absolutely nothing works because there's not enough capacity. So this is Leg Tafia metro station, and now got to Uber it, the last section to the hotel in Lusail. This is the luxurious Valero hotel room you get as part of the Qatar Airways stopover package. Beautiful. And we're just heading up to the rooftop, well, the 3rd floor swimming pool is outdoors, where we're going to spend the rest of the afternoon just chilling before we head off to the chaos that is going to be Bangladesh. We've got golden elevators, marble floors. This is the glorious 3rd floor / rooftop, outdoor, whatever you want to call it, swimming pool area. Absolutely amazing. This is all included in the stopover deal, which is just insane. And you can just see a little bit more of the new city here, with Doha in the distance over there. And yeah, this is the edge of the city really, the deserts beyond there. And they're turning it into places like this, the Valero Hotel. Thanks for watching, and tune in next time. We'll be visiting Bangladesh.